Good evening everyone and welcome to League of Europe F1 2019 Division 1 Round 12 here at the Red Bull Ring in Spielberg in Austria. And guess who is back? Yes, James Head 14 back here to commentate on the action. Thank you so much for tuning in everyone to Division 1. I'm sure you will be in for such a great race. If you didn't know where I was last week, I was a bit ill last week. I had what is described as man flu over here in the UK. So I've had a bit of that. I've recovered throughout this week and I'm very, very thrilled to be back in the commentary box. And of course, thank you to the commentator that tuned in last week, that filled in for me last week as part of Division 1 in Japan, and from what I saw of it, it was a dramatic race, and we'll run you through the permutations from the standings very shortly indeed, and in fact I'll do that now as we get prepared for tonight's action. 17 drivers currently in the lobby, 18 including me of course. We have got a couple of new drivers in, I'll come on to them in a little bit, but Montana on top here in Division 1, as always, as he has done for most of this season. 232 points he leads on. Now, there is debate going around. I've been debating to myself, is there a championship battle going on? Well, there is, and the championship can actually be won tonight, I think. Montana can win tonight as long as Waluigi either finishes 9th or below to secure the championship. I'm not sure on that. I could be wrong, but Montana will definitely seal it either this week or next week. It might be next week, but just informing you guys of a possible permutation. But run you through the standings. Montana on 232 points, leading the way with Rafa in second on 108 and Waluigi in third on 84 points. Then it's Cantera in fourth on 77 with Harrison David, now recently retired once again, on 76 points. Neo with a great run of form, I've got to say, the German, he is coming up hot on the rails. The German, 65 points for him, 2 wins for his name this season. Juman 7th on 62 with ILRT Sterling, who I don't think is in attendance tonight, in 8th on 53 points. I'm pretty sure he put in the chat earlier that he wasn't going to be attending. He's not here so far tonight, so ILRT Sterling, don't think he's going to be here, but he's on 53 points in 8th. YHYY the Finn on in 9th on 51 points, and in 10th is NSX Messina on 50 points. Then we've got Daka, who was back here tonight of course, 49 points for him. He's been quite consistent the last couple of weeks. Bullet Boy not attending tonight on 47 points in 12th, with Wouters, another recently retired driver, on 45 points. Then Xjari in 14th on 40, and Rick in 15th on 36 points. They're the top 15. I'll run you down through the top 20. Larkin on 25, then we've got Killer Blue on 18, Mishemri on 18, Kivior Game Boys on 13, and V5HOL on 11. That is the top 20 out of the standings. The rest can be viewed on F1 League of Europe WordPress.com, which will be able to catch the standings, or you can go to Waluigi's video because he uploads them right at the end of there. But hopefully everyone tuning in to the stream having a good night so far. It is about to get even better of course as we come into Spielberg in Austria. There are 3 DRS zones on this track, and recently people might have heard, of course, earlier this year we did lose Niki Lauda from the world. Niki Lauda, a big pioneer in Formula 1 of course. This is of course his home race, and I'm sure everyone will join me in thanking Niki really for all of the work that he's done within Formula 1, all of his driving achievements as well. And he will be missed, and there is a corner named after him on this track. Turn 1 is now named Lauda Curve. I might be wrong with that, but I'm pretty sure it's Lauda Curve. So that is turn 1, and of course we will be paying tribute. I'm sure there will be a lot more reflection going on possibly with Niki's passing earlier on this year, sadly, and he will be a forgotten figure in Formula 1 for sure. Moving on to tonight now, as I alluded to, there are 10 corners for these drivers to run around, to ride around out on track here tonight. 3 DRS zones, 1 down the main start-finish straight, 1 up the hill into turn 3, and 1 down the hill into turn 4. So it's going to be very intriguing to see how close this is going to be, and I'm going to put it out there, very bold prediction early on. I honestly think that qualifying will be within a second. I honestly think qualifying will be within a second here tonight. I have seen that in other leagues before, and I'm pretty sure it might happen here tonight. And just to lead on to at least one new driver that I've spotted is Verstappen RB33 in the McLaren. I do believe he is a part of Clean Vigor esports team, which is fantastic to see. So welcome Verstappen to League of Europe Division 1. Hopefully it will be a good race for him in his debut. I don't think he attended last week as far as I'm aware, but we do have 17 drivers here tonight. Messina is not Northern Irish, I know that, but 17 drivers to do battle here on the at the Red Bull Ring, and I'm sure this is going to be such a great race. Do interact, of course, in the comments section. I do like to hear your comments, and I do like to read them out over the stream as well. But we are getting going now for short qualifying in Austria. If you're new to Formula 1, 18 minutes worth of short qualifying, and we will be seeing the cars out we will be seeing the drivers out on different compound of tyres, and I will come on to that very soon indeed. But 17 drivers about to do battle, and focusing on what happened last week in Japan, if you weren't with us for that, Neo took the win. His second win of the season in Japan. Great race for him. Second was Waluigi, getting a career best second this season so far, jumping up to third in the championship. Cantera in third. He's been going quite well recently. He's been getting into the championship picture for at least a podium in the championship in third. Then in fourth, it was Larkin, who finished fourth last week, and Montana, not having the great run of things. He did have early contact in that Japanese race, and he also got fastest lap as well, so he finished fifth in that race as well. But we are now getting into qualifying. 18 minutes worth of qualifying about to happen here, and of course we will have the formation lap and the 50% race to unfold out on track. So here we go. Spielberg, get ready, and I'm sure everyone in the comments and viewing on the stream, get ready as well, because this is going to be quite a lightning fast stream. We could be here for about an hour and a quarter maybe, at the very, very latest, because this track, obviously 36 laps, going to be unfolding out on track. We do have the first couple of cars though coming out onto track. There's a racing point just coming out, and that is not Montana coming out first, that is Larkin coming out first. So the Brit is out on track first. He's opted for the soft compound of tyre, which is the Red Bull compound of tyre, which essentially means this is the fastest you can go in qualifying. I will try and pick out if anybody else is on different compounds of tyres during this qualifying session. Montana is also out on the soft compound of tyres as well. But, of course, coming into tonight, Larkin first out on track. We are now getting a lot of activity coming out on track. I will have my first check of the comment section now. Hopefully you guys are tuning in and are doing well tonight, of course, and do interact with me in the comment section, because I do love a good old view of the comment section. Bullet Boy coming in and saying he can't make it tonight, which is unfortunate, but hopefully he's doing well nonetheless. Yari coming in saying dry qualifying, dry to wet race. And Larkin saying rain 20 minutes into the race. Very intriguing indeed, and good evening to Harrison David as well, just coming in there with a late comment. But Larkin about to get going here for a lap of the Red Bull Ring, and we will go on board with him as he starts out his lap in that racing point. So the Brit now coming up the hill into turn one, louder curve, hits it nicely. Oh, and it might have invalidated there already. So Larkin has, I think, already invalidated that. That's not what you like to see for the first lap round here. Let's go on board with Montana, who's just behind him out on track, running up the hill now through the kink of turn two. Yes, this is a corner, believe it or not. Through turn two he goes, 15.9 through the first sector. He should be seeing sub 16 seconds first sectors through here. Through turn three, now opening up that the second DRS straight here. Now down into turn four, which is down the hill here, 203 mile an hour down into the braking zone. Very, very nice indeed. Drops it down to first, through into second gear there. Looking very good so far. We'll go on board then with the Williams driver, the current leader of the championship, with 232 points coming into the light, and a 44.5 through the middle sector is not too shabby either for the Swiss man. Now coming through turn 7, sorry, that was turn 8, now coming into turn 9. which you can take that and attack it. Not using too much ERS on this lap, I've got to be honest, for Montana about to come across the line. Larkin didn't invalidate. A 104 flat though for Montana. That's probably the standard that you've got to beat here tonight. Larkin with a 108.7. He did not invalidate. Ciappellelli just coming in behind with a 104.4. We've got June on a lap as well. So the Spaniard about to reach turn 9, which you can take at speed. Drop the power, just catching on the curb slightly, now through into turn 10. A little bit of change in direction there, just going into the corner, but June across the line will go second with a 104.2. And already, you can really see how this qualifying is going to unfold with some of these drivers. We get Killer Blue across the line with a 104.8, that was. Messina is on a lap in the meantime. The Finn, Messina on a lap through turn 9, now through turn 10, opening up that DRS once again towards the line, and Messina I think is going to go fourth with this lap. Yeah, 104.7, nice lap there from Messina. Luigi coming in as well with a 105.4, and X-Jarry with a 107.3, and Neo out on a set of medium compound tyres, a 105.3 there for the German, of course, has won the last two races, especially last week in Japan, where he did take the win from Luigi back in Japan all that week ago. I know, time goes by when you're having fun, honestly. But Montana out on top with nearly 5 minutes gone in qualifying already. So Montana out on top with a 104 flat. June in second with a 104.2, and Ciappellelli in third with a 104.4. No real surprises there, to be honest, at the top. Within the top 5, I would say, certainly. Larkin, however, has just improved with a 104.8, and coming across the line there, Daka with a 105.1, the young Scotsman coming in, and Canteras just came in just behind June as well, up to P3. We'll try and pick up on somebody that is on a lap, however. Verstappen about to come across the line. The new debutant goes fourth. Goes fourth on his debut, 104.4. That is a stunning lap, I've got to say. For a debutant, Clean Vigor might have picked up one hell of a racer there already. Verstappen with a 104.4. Let's see how he pans out throughout the rest of the session. He's 400s up in the first sector as well. I don't think this will be a lap for him. I think he might be coming back into the pit. He's got 20% of ERS now running down the straight. We'll focus on him though. All I know about him is that he's part of Clean Vigor and he's Dutch. That's all I know about him. So, a bit of a new one to me, but try my best to find out a little bit more about him during tonight's action. And Verstappen now through the kink at turn 6, now through the chicane at 7 and 8. 10th up here for Verstappen, looking good so far. And I think he is going to be going ahead of Cantera, possibly, maybe even ahead of June, who knows. Just rubs on the grass slightly, and that's an invalidation. He decides to come into the pit. Got his field warning light on as well. Sorry, his repair light as well. That was his teammate coming into the pit as well, V5HRL. We've only got one driver really out on the lap, which is YHYY, the Finn, the 108.5. Obviously, he's going to improve on that. He's on a set of soft compound tyres. Interesting to note as well, the other McLaren, V5HRL, on a set of hard compound tyres. And I did allude to, if you were new to Formula 1, the soft compound tyres, the fastest compound tyres, as you're quite clearly seeing with the top 8 in qualifying so far. The medium compound tyres are shown off by Daka and Neo. They're the middle of the 3 compound tyres that you've got available. YHYY 6 tenths up in the middle sector on a set of softs. So they are more durable during the race, and I think YHYY in fact coming into the pits here. They're more durable during the race, and they can get a little bit further into the race, possibly around 6 or 7 laps further into the race. V5HRL on the set of hard compound tyres, they're the softest of the 3, the hardest of the 3 compound tyres, now at a set of mediums, beautifully demonstrated there to be honest, but his last lap was set on a set of hards, and they're more durable, and possibly could be looking into a one-stop strategy if anybody does decide to not qualify here tonight. We have got action though out on track. Montana is in that middle sector. The Swiss man, 800s up so far through the first sector, now coming into the middle sector. He's nearly halfway gone in qualifying, a 44.4. He's about 10th up. He just ran a little bit wide of the curb, I've got to be honest, through 7 and 8. Attacking that nicely, now up the hill into turn 9. Right-hander flies it. Might have just invalidated there. I had a feeling that was invalidation, and Montana, rightfully I think, comes into the pits. Probably not happy with that, but Montana's into the pits I'm sure he'll be able to go again later on in the session, and that's not what you like to see. Schiaparelli has had a bit of a spin out of turn 9. I'm not sure if he's dropped the back end coming through on the outside curve, and he's ended up on that inside wall. Schiaparelli into the pits, whatever has gone on there. I don't know what's happened, but he's into the pits nonetheless. Try and pick up on board with somebody that is on a lap. Killer Blue on a lap, I think. Yeah, the Williams driver on a lap. There is a Ferrari just in front of him out on track. I think that might be Waluigi coming into the pits. Sorry, it's Gary Donegan. The other Ferrari into the pits. Killer Blue across the line. 104.6. Goes ahead of Messina and jumps up to P6. So good showing there by Killer Blue, who of course has recently taken over the Williams from the now departed Rafa. And of course we do wish any driver that has retired from this league well in their future endeavours, whatever they may be doing. But please come back, because it's a lot more fun with you here than it is without you. I've got to be honest. Halfway through in qualifying though, Montana with a 104 flat still out on top. Doom in second and Cantera in third. So we've got a Swiss driver on top, Doom in second, and Cantera in third. The two Spaniards second and third at this stage. We're right on board then with somebody, if we can pick up. The cloud cover just beginning to come over slightly, maybe indicating that we could be due for possible rain, maybe? Who knows? Who knows? Waluigi through the final corner, 3/10 up on a lap. The Belgian about to come across the line, a 104.9, and look at how tight it is between that top 12. Less than a second separating the top 12 here so far out on track, and they're all on the soft compound of tyres. Yes, the set of soft compound of tyres. I didn't say anything else, if people might have been wondering if I said anything rude there. Verstappen is about to come across the line. Doesn't improve. He's a 104.5, but setting nice consistent laps. Messina, in the meantime, has jumped up into third there with a 104.212. So he's about 300ths ahead of Doom with that lap. 8 minutes to go. Still got a few drivers still to set better laps. V5 Travel amongst that. I'm just trying to pick up on somebody that is on a lap. And there's not really anyone. We'll pick on board with YHYY just through the middle sector there. 45.3. He's now on a set of soft compound of tyres. Should be improving this tenfold really on his lap. So YHYY now into the final two corners at turn 9 and now into turn 10. A little bit of a hanging off the camber of the corner. Runs wide over the curb. Doesn't pick up in validation, and it's a 105.2. Nice respectful lap there by the Finn. He jumps up into 13th place. He's got to watch out though, because V5 HRL, Xjavi, Rick probably will still improve, and Gary Donegan, I have a feeling, will set a lap very shortly indeed. I think Schiaparelli might be on a lap in the meantime. The German, Schiaparelli, with a 104.4 to his name so far. 44.5 through the middle sector. So he's nearly 3/10 up through this middle sector, which essentially means he could be eyeing towards Montana's pole position lap currently, provisional pole lap of a 104 flat. Schiaparelli through the final two corners now. Looking very good through there for the VRT team. Schiaparelli across the line. Oh, just goes shy. It's a 104 flat. I had a feeling that was going to be a 103, but it's a 104 flat from Schiaparelli. It's a very good lap though by the German, and he jumps up into second in that Red Bull. Very nice lap there indeed. Gary Donegan, as I alluded to, still yet to set a lap, but he is on one now, the Irishman. So we'll see how Gary Donegan then get on with this lap. 44.9 through the middle sector is very respectful indeed. Hangs out nicely within the white lines through 7 and 8. Now up the hill into turn 9. We'll go on board with him through turn 9. Can attack that just a little bit more, I think. He can get a little bit more speed through that. There is a yellow flag in sector 2. Gary Donegan about to come across the line now. Goes ahead of his... Oh, just behind his teammate. Thought he was just going to go ahead of his teammate there. But Gary Donegan with a 104.928. Only 11 hundredths off Waluigi, his teammate. As we now get down towards the nitty and gritty with 5 minutes and 45 just under to go. Montana, Schiaparelli, Cantera, your current top 3 at this stage. Try and pick up on somebody that is on a lap. Neil coming across the line, not improving, but he is just starting a lap up now. Killer Blue though is on a lap, 44.7 through the middle sector, so he's up by nearly 2/10 of a second through that middle sector, and the Williams looking to try and go ahead of the likes of Verstappen. Daka now, by the way, is up at the 7th. I didn't see that. It's a 104.575 for him. Killer Blue across the line, jumps ahead of Daka. 104.5 jumps up into 7th. So Daka now, with Larkin now dropping down into 8th, 9th and 10th as well for Neil, respectfully. There are other drivers out on the lap. Doom coming around the final 2 corners. He's a 10th and a half up through the middle sector. Just under. Ooh, might have invalidated there. He's about to come across the line in the meantime. And he does. He's just off time, in fact. Just off the time. So he was about 400ths off. Maybe that run off the final corner just not gaining him the time that he might have wanted. And Tara is just starting up a lap. And there is the traditional slipstreaming tactics there by the 2 Renaults, which has been known for, and I did complain about 2 weeks ago. I'm not going to complain about it this time. Hopefully we don't see that again. Larkin in the meantime has jumped up to 6th with a 104.3. Nice lap by him. And Verstappen has gone 7th as well with a 104.4, so he's jumped ahead of Killer Blue. In fact, he's just started the lap. I do apologise, he's just started the lap. Oh, and it is starting to rain out on track. So it is starting to rain out on track. I think it's very similar to what I saw with Division 3. It is starting to rain now out on track. So, really, the best of the running for these guys have got to be now before it gets wetter. V5HRL improving 105.3. X-Jarry not improving. Rick not improving yet. We'll go on board with X-Jarry. Of course, the more rain that falls now, the colder these tyres will be. Essentially, they won't perform as better, so you'll be better off going on a set of mediums, maybe even a set of hards. But the rain now coming down, and will get into that track eventually. X-Jarry coming across the line 7/10 off, and Rick coming into the pits. Are we going to see our first flood of retirements, I wonder, out on track? Montana a 10th down through the first sector, seemingly looking like it's getting a little bit more slippery there out on track. We'll try and pick up on board with somebody that's coming through the final sector while we G into the pits. I have a feeling this might be the end of qualifying, to be honest, because it is starting to rain. This rain will continue to fall. YHYY off the track through turn 6. That is through the left-hander at turn 6 before the kink at 7 and 8. YHYY. Good sportsmanship shown there, letting other drivers through, which is good to see. V5HRL into the pits. X-Jarry is a 10th down, but look at the rain now hanging off essentially what is the driver's helmet. He's 1.1 seconds down. This rain beginning to get a little bit heavier. Might be the end of qualifying. Everyone in the pits, which makes me suggest that we're either going to get a full flood of activity very late on in this session, as YHYY is retired from the session. Chapelelli retires. I don't think these conditions are going to improve. So I have a feeling now that these guys are in. There's nothing now happening out on track, which means I'm going to tune into the comment section once again, see what you guys are coming out on board with. There is a Renault venturing out, and there is a Racing Point venturing out. I have a feeling, though, they're not going to improve on their times. I think it's pretty worthless going out on track. Gary Donegan out well in the Ferrari. But let's see how everyone is doing once again in the comment section. Harrison David coming in and saying, good luck to all drivers tonight, drive hard and have fun. I'm sure they will be having fun in dampening conditions in qualifying here. Lewis Campbell coming in, that's KVR Campbell coming in and saying, Verstappen has been with KVR since nearly the beginning, which is good to see. Everyone pretty much retiring from this session. We've got a few brave souls coming out on track. I will try and provide you with a bit of action towards the end of qualifying. However, it's not really guaranteed. Now there's only 3 drivers out on track at the minute. Yari saying, bin dry quali may rain soon. And that's exactly what has happened. Beautiful. And Old School coming in, that is Mark coming in. Wow, close up the top 3 will be seen, and it is very close, I've got to say. DRS disabled, which essentially means anybody that is now out on a soft compounded tyre are not going to work. And that's exactly why you do not go out on a track that is getting wet and wetter. That's not what you like to see. Gary Donegan out of the session there, so he's going to be starting P12, nobody ahead, nobody behind him, in fact, still out on track. Montana is opting for a set of inters, Cantera on a set of softs. Cantera, I hardly doubt, is on a lap here. Yeah, he's coming into the pit, so Cantera's session is done. We'll watch Montana then, he's on a set of inters. Oh, and he's beginning to lose control on these sides. It is essentially what we call the crossover period here in Formula 1. 10 seconds to go in qualifying. Nothing really now going to be happening. Montana out on inters for the sake of it, really. So we will have a little bit of action towards the end of this session. But the qualifying order is probably how you see it now. Montana, 104 flat, and it will be how you see it now. Montana with a 104 flat, Ciappellelli with a 104 flat in second, Cantera in third. 600ths of a second, I make that, separating the top three, with Messina in fourth and Doom filling out the top five. There's a lot, very close, I've got to say, though, between Messina and Doom there, 300th of a second. Larkin, Verstappen on his debut for QVR, 104.4, very nice lap in there indeed. Killer Blue and Ed with a 104.5, Dakar with a 104.5, Neil with a 104.5. Starting 10th, we'll see how he gets on from there. Of course, he has won the last two races. Let's see how that racing point gets on. Two Ferraris starting just in behind, while Luigi and Gary Donegan setting 104.9s respectively. Kooky Games with a 105 flat, with YHYY 105.2, V5HRL with a 105.3, X-Jarry with a 105.6, and Rick with a 105.9. And I thought that was going to be enough towards the end of the session. Montana drifting through the final corner. Bit of a show-off going on there by Montana, but he's across the line anyways, and we will get into the race, which is promising to be similar to what we saw in qualifying. Dry to start off with, but wettening race throughout. So it's going to be quite interesting to see. Montana out on top, as I say, with a 104 flat, with Ciappellelli in seconds on that front row of the grid. Cantera in third, with Messina joining them on the second row and fourth, with Doom and Larkin filling out the third row in fifth and sixth. Verstappen on the fourth row alongside Killer Blue, with Dakar and Neil filling out the fifth row, ninth and 10th. Luigi on the 6th row alongside Gary Donegan, they're 11th and 12th, with Kooky Games and YHYY on the 7th row, 13th and 14th. V5HRL and X-Jarry on the 8th row of the grid, 15th and 16th, and Rick right down the bottom there, starting on the 8th row of the grid. The sole car to be starting on that row down there in 17th position. I'm sure he'll be hoping, of course, free compound of tyre choice for him, and it's beautiful blue sky once again here in Austria, so I don't know what the talk about is about it's going to rain, but we'll see how this race progresses. About 20 minutes in should really be just after the first round of pit stops, I imagine. Obviously it's probably going to be about a 108 average lap time, I would say, around here for most of these drivers, so a 108 flat. Take that into consideration. You might be going towards the end of the pit stop window for the first on the first stint. Of course, if drivers opting to go onto a one stop, they might see a possible advantage out of that, but it remains to be seen. 10 seconds, just counting down towards the start of the formation lap. Of course, if you do have any predictions, put them down in the comments section. I'll read them out, of course, during the course of this formation lap, and we'll see how everyone has decided to opt for the tyres. Of course, the top 10 will be starting on their respective set of tyres that they've set in qualifying, that they're starting on in qualifying, or they qualified on, I should say. So the top 10 out on softs, that's Montana, Ciappellelli, Cantera, Messina, Doom, Larkin, Verstappen, Killer Blue, Dakar and Neo. They're all on the set of soft compound of tyres. Joining with them on the set of softs is YHYY down in 14th and X-Jarry in 16th position, so watch out for them early on because they could make ground through the race. Medium set of runners, well, Luigi and Gary Donegan, the two Ferraris, along with V5HRL in the McLaren, in the set of mediums as well. And on a set of hard compound of tyres, which may opt to go towards a one-stop strategy, Kooky Games in 13th and Rick in 17th. So that's how the tyres pan out, and I'm sure be all wanting to hold on tenterhooks what my prediction is going to be. So, my prediction is Montana to retribute themselves from last week's disappointment in Japan and win here tonight in Austria. I think we're going to see Cantera in second. Cantera will be second. And I think Dakar for a bit of an outside shot. The Scotsman currently in 9th, but I think he'll finish 3rd. I think he's got a good turn of pace around him on the stretch, certainly from what we saw of him in qualifying. But now as the grid formates and the drivers begin to join their grid positions, We're about to get racing here for 36 laps around the Red Bull Ring. And of course, we are prepared for round 12 of the championship, and it is about to get going. What a beautiful view that is, running down towards the end of the lap. On the start-finish line, there is a yellow flag in sector 3. Don't worry about that at all, but we are about to go green. The red lights about to go out for Austria. And it's lights out and away we go. First time start, and Schiaparelli's got a hell of a start off the line. Schiaparelli gets a great start off the line. Down the inside, he's got the lead down into turn 1. A little bit of Constantinian going on in behind. Killer Blue and Larkin just having a little bit of contact. All clean roughly through turn 1. Ex-Joey just losing out a couple of positions there. But Schiaparelli and Montana, now they go side by side. Up the hill into turn 3. At the end of sector 1 already. Bit of a Constantino effect. 3 wide just in behind as well. Killer Blue opting to go for down the inside of Messina and Doom there. Not paying off, but Montana has got the break. Schiaparelli now in second, under pressure from Cantera in third. The Spaniard right on the back of him as Doom is down the inside. Oh, there's contact. I'm not sure if that was between Messina and Doom, but Doom has certainly tapped the back end of his teammate there. So Cantera now dropping down the field. That might just need to be looked into, possibly. I'm not sure if Doom might have just overcooked that a little bit. He's lost his left side, he's lost his right side end plate, I should say. But Montana out in front, 9/10 of a second leading. Gary Donegan is about to pass Doom in the meantime. As we see side-by-side action just in front as well. Killer Blue trying to get past Neo. But Montana at the end of lap 1. Quite fortunate, I think. Of course, he did come under pressure from Schiaparelli down into turn 3. But Montana leads the way at the end of lap 1. Bit of a dramatic lap 1 with Doom and Kuka games into the pits. Another bit of contact, but relatively all clean from everyone else. Montana leads the way up the hill from Schiaparelli in second. Look at the train forming up in behind them. Messina, Larkin and Cantera fighting out for third currently. They go up the hill into turn 3. Not quite opting to go for any moves in the meantime. Killer Blue has just gone past Verstappen, I think, there for 7th. So Killer Blue up into 7th, and Williams making ground. Messina under pressure from Larkin early on, and Verstappen in fact trying to go all the way around the outside down into turn 4. A little bit of lag going on with Killer Blue. Verstappen decides to go on the inside line, the QVR driver trying to get past the Dutchman. Not quite. He forces the issue down the inside though at turn 6. There's a lot of action going on, and behind Messina has lost positions. So Messina is losing positions left, right and centre. Has he got a puncture? No, he hasn't. Something's going on there with Messina. I'm not sure if he's lost it somewhere out on track. He's lost his right side end plate, whatever has happened. Didn't catch up on what's happened there. In the meantime, side by side between, I think that was Verstappen and Killer Blue is off track and he's off the road and he's into the wall. Down the straight, Messina has retired in the pits, so Messina is out of the race, retiring in the pits. I'm not sure what has occurred there at all, and he has left the race as a result of whatever has happened. Cantera, in the meantime, under attacking now. Larkin down the inside, the Spaniard, beautiful on the brakes there, the Spaniard down the inside of the brakes, and he gets the move done. Neo and Daka, Neo's making good ground up the field, he's into 5th as well, as Daka now tries to pressurise him. Watch out for Verstappen in behind as well. Could see 3 wide down into turn 4, 3 in a bed possibly, but Daka is through. Verstappen is through as well, I think, on Neo trying to hang it now onto the inside line, respectively, just dives in behind him and drops in to fill up in 7th position. But dramatic start. Montana 1.5 seconds out in front, has got the break from Schiaparelli in 2nd. Cantera now in 3rd, Larkin in 4th. Let's see how the positions have changed over the last 3 laps. Over the course of the last 3 laps, quite a few changes. While Luigi's up 5 positions, Daco up 4. There's a few other drivers up 4. V5HOL, X-Jarry, Rick. 3 positions gained for Neil, 3 positions gained for Waluigi in behind, and that is the battle that's now unfolding just behind. Camera shot there, and now Waluigi opting to go down the inside on a set of medium compounder tyres compared to the set of soft. Now Neil runs a little bit of side-by-side contact there, banging wheels. I think Waluigi would have had that position done, and now the 5-car train develops in behind. YHYY, Gary Donegan, V5HOL right in behind as well. Action-packed stuff as Verstappen has gone sailing around the outside of Daka. That's for P5. So Verstappen now into P5. Good stuff there by the Dutchman. Try and defend off the Scotsman of Daka. Not going to see any moves down into the braking zone at turn 4, I don't think. We are not seeing that at all. So a little bit of break in the action for now. Still quite close in between. In the meantime, though, in between the race that's happening. But Montana, 2.2 seconds out in front, is getting a little bit of time. Now YHYY right on the back of Neil, as I try and figure out how the camera works. YHYY, 2 tenths off. Not pressurising Neil just yet. We should be seeing the first round of pit stops come very, very soon indeed. Far out of 36 from now on, and Montana leads the way. 1.7 seconds, 1.5 seconds. He might have made a mistake out of turn 1, I suspect. He's lost 7/10 of a second there. I have a feeling that is what has occurred. Gary Donegan has just picked up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. That was track extending at turn 1. V5HRL, in the meantime, trying to get past Gary Donegan, who's later on the brakes than him. Tries to pressurise. YHYY though has got the better run off in the meantime, just in the foreground of shot there, and he's got the move done on Neil. Neil will try and fight him back down into turn 4. Don't think he's going to be close enough though, and YHYY has got that position done, and he now can chase down Waluigi, who was up 4 positions early. And YHYY making eye-catching progress, I've got to say, through the field. Of course, he is on a set of soft compound of tyres, which should see him towards lap, don't know where he'll get on those sets of tyres, to be honest. Chapelletti has picked up a 3-second time penalty though. In the meantime, we'll focus on the battle for third as Larkin tries to catch Pantera as Neil is into the pit. So Neil was into the pit early. A very early pit stop for the German. A bit earlier than I was even expecting, to be honest. But Larkin now on the back of Pantera. This is for third place out on track. Pantera doing a nice job so far. Larkin in 4th. Verstappen on his debut as well. Very eye-catching so far in 5th. And Dakar in 6th as well. Very eye-catching there from the Scotsman at the minute. But lap 6 out of 36. Montana leads the way. 1.8 seconds. Chapelletti in 2nd. Larkin later on the brakes there than Cantera. Not going to opt for the move. Neil was out behind. Kooky Games out on track. So he's in clear air. He's down there in 15th position. Not sure if there was any sort of wing-on-wing contact, possibly, which forced him to come into the pits. But Montana leads the way. Chapelletti in 2nd, Cantera in 3rd, Larkin in 4th, Verstappen 5th, and Dakar in 6th, with Waluigi in 7th, YHYY in 8th, Gary Donegan in 9th, V5HRL running off the top 10. Of course, points go down to the top 12. So Jerry and Rick currently in that top 12 positions. Hopefully everyone enjoying the race so far and enjoying the commentary so far. Montana leads the way by 2 seconds out on track. And I'll just tune in to the comment section, see what you guys have been commenting. Let's have a look. A few laps of that's Harrison David earlier on. Old School saying, the guy I was beating in practice is winning. New Waluigi in great shape. Yeah, doing a good job. So far, I've got to say, we've got a little bit of scrapping up into the hill in turn 3. Gary Donegan down the inside of V5HRL, so the Irishman commits that move down the inside, and the Ferrari driver is through. V5HRL, and now X-Jerry getting involved as well. X-Jerry could try and send the move up the inside. V5HRL trying to opt to go for the inside, just seeing if there was a bit of a gap there, but the Irishman holds the positions, and he's still in 9th position with V5HRL in 10th and X-Jerry in 11th, so it's pretty much as you were. Looking at a bit of conversation going on between Lucas and Mark as well in the comment section. Mark, are you quick? Apparently he's not in this division, so if he was that quick he'd be in here right now, I've got to say. Lucas also coming in. I'm doing this on 30 minutes of practice, so probably going to bottle it. Don't bottle it. Do not bottle it. Continue. Consistency is much better than any sort of pace that you show out on this track. Consistency is key, and that's what we're seeing really with Waluigi up in 7th position. He's been consistent all season here in Division 1. In the meantime, round 2 of the battle between Gary Donegan and V5HRL. V5HRL trying to go around the outside, now trying to switch to the inside, but Gary Donegan holds it firm and holds that position for now. A little bit of lag going on there. Possibly drop it into a 1-bar connection, but V5HRL trying to go around the outside. Run on board with X-Jerry as well. Chapelletti, 3-second time penalty, I think that is, for Chapelletti. Going to be crucial come the end of this race. Can really punish drivers this track. So watch out for Chapelletti's penalties come the end, and watch out for everyone else's penalties come the end of the race. I wouldn't be surprised if everyone gets at least a 3-second time penalty out on track tonight. But Montana leads the way. Chapelletti in 2nd, Cantera in 3rd. Still as you were really for the top 3. Larkin in 4th. Clouds now beginning to come over. There is a prospect of rain here in this race. V5HRL now, if he's got the speed, he can try and get past Gary Donegan down into turn 1. It's going to be side by side. He is going to lunge the car down the inside. Gary gives him room, and he still holds the boot, and that's not what we like to see. Goodness me. Jesus Christ. Holy Mary, Mother of God. V5HL and Gary Donegan, that is what you like. That's not what you like to see in Division 1. And he tries to hang around the outside. Not sure if there is a bit of a desync going on possibly between those two. That's what we saw, I think. Dakar, in the meantime, has got past Verstappen. So Dakar now up to 5th. Just missed that move as we saw a bit of sexual intercourse going on out on track. We're a quarter of the way through the race. Montana leads 2.2 seconds. Schiaparelli in 2nd. Cantera in 3rd. Larkin in 4th. Dakar in 5th. Verstappen in 6th. Waluigi, YHYY. And this is the battle, actually, just ahead of this, between Gary Donegan and ex-Jerry and V5HRL. YHYY, though, getting onto the back of Waluigi in the meantime. Got to try and make the move stick, really. Of course, we have got the prospect of rains. The soft runners that have qualified down in the lower half of the grid have got to try and make as much progress as through the field as possible to try and get themselves the best result, because the undercut can be quite potent on this track. But we see ex-Jerry now closing in on Gary Donegan. The Irishman under pressure. Ex-Jerry now down the inside. Mercedes down on the Ferrari. Beautiful move if he can pull it off, and he does. Ex-Jerry down the inside, just forcing the issue there on Gary Donegan, and gets the move done. So he's up to 9th place with a nice solid move up the inside there of turn 3. Bit of a lock-up going down into turn 4, but he's kept the move done. Gary Donegan will try and hold it firm. Of course, clouds starting to come over. These mediums will start to operate at a much better temperature compared to the softs. Neo, in the meantime, about to get past Kuka Games down into turn 4. Of course, Neo out of position, trying to operate and try and get past Kuka Games as much as possible early on in this race. Lap 11 out of 36. He's got to try and make this move stick as soon as possible, because he's got to think about himself longer term in the race, and I think he might have timed it perfectly, to be honest. He's the only one has really came into the pit so far out on track. So Kuka Games now under pressure from Neo. Of course, Neo taking the last 2 wins here in Division 1. Of course, last week in Japan included in that. And the German now closing on Kuka Games. It should be job done up the hill, I think, into turn 3. Got the fresher tyres. He's got to go for it, though. He's got to think about his longer term ambitions in the race. And Neo now about to sail around the outside. Kuka Games will try and defend him off. It's not good enough, as Neo is through, and I think Kuka Games had a bit of a resentful fact there that he was losing time. There is a yellow flag in Sector 3, and that is one of the leaders. That's Schiaparelli off. Schiaparelli is off. So the driver that was running in 2nd place out on track, Schiaparelli, has had a moment coming out of turn 7 and 8. And the German now has got it all to do, and I think he might have a puncture, to be honest. Has he got a puncture? We can't see on the camera angle. We cannot see on the camera angle. Something has dramatically gone wrong here for Schiaparelli. He's got to rejoin track in a safe manner. What on earth has happened there? He hasn't got a puncture. He's lost the back end. He's lost the tyres, I think. Blistering maybe down on the rears. So Schiaparelli has now lost all chance, possibly, of what he was expecting to get a podium, I've got to be honest, but now that might be just thrown out the window. It's unlucky for Schiaparelli, but it's how you come back from this that really makes you the best driver that you can possibly be. And I think Schiaparelli, due to his pace, on the pace angle, I think he should be able to make up ground, but I think he needs to pit, and I think he needs to pit soon. Of course, rain due as well. Neo is under pressure there from Kuka Games in the meantime. The German down into, he's still in 14th position. Kuka Games 15th, of course, after that move a couple of laps ago. But now, a bit of a 4-car train now starting to develop. Cantera, Larkin, Dakar and Verstappen now all hunting as Montana, the leader, picks up a 3-second time penalty. I'm not surprised in that, and it's starting to rain out on track. So it's starting to rain out on track. How will this affect? How quick will this go from the race? And how quick will this interfere with the race? I've got to be honest. We'll find out very shortly indeed. Lap 13 out of 36, Montana leads, 8 seconds the gap. Cantera 2nd, Larkin 3rd, Dakar in 4th. Anybody that's on a set of medium compound of tyres, I think will be benefiting from these dampening conditions out on track. Of course, the softs will be operating now at a colder temperature compared to the mediums. The mediums will have a bit more grip in them, and they will be gripping more onto the track than compared to the soft runners. currently out on track. But what do people do? Do they pit early? It's definitely not Inters yet. So if you are listening and you want to pit for Inters, don't. Because it's going to ruin your race. It's as simple as that. It's going to ruin your race. I would say maybe 3-4 laps time, we'll be seeing a flood of cars coming into the pits. So just watch out for that. In the meantime, as we guess, Cantera coming into the pits. And speaking of flood of cars coming into the pits, Cantera is into the pits. A very intriguing pit stop here for the Spaniard. And that is a set of Inters for him. That's a set of Inters for Cantera. He has gambled on this. I don't think this gamble is going to pay off at all. This is going to be very costly for Cantera. We'll see how he tries to get out of the pit lane. Rick's just about to come past him on the outside of shot. Should be passing him very shortly indeed. There is Rick just coming in behind. Dakar and Larkin battling it out, but we'll see how these guys, or how Cantera is going to get out on the Inters compared to everyone else. On a set of hard compound of tyres, he can't get the car stopped. Down into turn 3. And it's going to be very, very costly now for Cantera. We've got action going on left, right and centre though in the meantime. Gary Donegan making up a position there on ex-Jarry. So Gary Donegan, as I said, the medium's now starting to come into it. Larkin holding up Dakar. Larkin has got past Dakar. He's up to P2 now. Dakar P3, Verstappen and P4. So I think it's been a trade around in positions. And is Dakar coming into the pits? Yes, he is. And DRS disabled. This is the perfect opportunity for the drivers to pit. Larkin has just came past the pit lane. He was wanting to come into the pits. Oh, that is unfortunate for Larkin. He's going to have to go around another lap on these set of softs. But everyone into the pits. So this is where the race now starts to develop. We've only had one retiree out of this race, Messina, the only one out of the race. Cookie Gaines has picked up a 3-second time penalty. But out on track, Verstappen has jumped Dakar, and he has jumped somebody else as well, I think. Yeah, he will have jumped Larkin. Cantera, beautiful poise now for second place, and he could even be on for this win. Cantera, after what I thought was a very strange pit stop for him, could now turn out to be a potential winner of this race. This is how fast the race changes when we get into wetting conditions out on track. A little bit of a break in the action really though. Hopefully everyone enjoying the commentary so far. Neo and Doom just coming out of the pits. And Doom in fact having a front wing change. He's been overtaken now by Killer Blue. So the two that didn't pit, Montana and Larkin, struggling into the pit lane. Montana, he's into the pits now. Don't bottle it coming into the pits. Nice stuff. Montana keeps it within the white lines. He'll get the car stopped as well. Nicely indeed. Larkin into the pits. Just focus on this. Cantera will be out in front, I think, once Montana comes out of the pit lane. Let's see. Larkin into the pits though. There's Cantera just coming through the final corner now. There's Montana just coming out of his pit box. And Cantera should be on the right hand side of your screen very shortly. There he is. Going to be very, very close coming out of turn 1. Cantera, I think, with the overspeed is going to just have it possibly. He does. Cantera just about has it, but this is side-by-side action for the lead of the race. Cantera and Montana side-by-side. The Spaniard on the outside line. The Williams, the Swiss, down the inside. He parks it beautifully on the apex. That is some phenomenal stuff for Montana. Down the inside of turn 3. Gets Cantera. Parks it on the apex as if he was parking a double-decker bus. And Montana has got the move done. And he maintains P1 out on track, and Cantera is going to give him something to work about though, because he's right on the back of him, and there's a lot of battles now starting to happen further down the field as well. So put it this way, gear up for the next 20 laps or so, because this is going to be one wild and wacky ride here in Division 1. Montana leads. Cantera second, Verstappen in third on his debut for the QVR team. The Dutchman having a great drive so far. And Dakar in fourth as well, doing QVR proud, while Luigi in fifth, YHYY in sixth, Larkin seventh, Gary Donegan eighth, ex-Jarry ninth, V5HRL. As a result of wetting conditions, what has happened to the position changes? Let's find out. 8 positions gained for YHYY. We've got a bit of a mix going on. Ex-Jarry 7, Rickin with 6, while Luigi with 6, V5HRL with 5, Dakar with 5, Verstappen with 4, Gary Donegan with 4, and Cantera with 1. The other position gains, position losses, Schiaparelli after that spin through turn 7 and 8 into the gravel, he's lost 10 positions. Juma's lost 11 positions. He's having a race to forget at the minute. The Spaniard should try and come into this race over the course of the next few laps, of course. Montana leads the way and is beginning to pull away out on track. A second the gap. We'll focus on the battle for fourth though. Luigi right on the back of Dakar. Of course, these were fighting out for good positions last time out in Japan. Luigi taking second place in Japan last week, of course, where I wasn't here. Verstappen picks up a 3-second time penalty as well. And also just to pick up on Dakar last week, Dakar finished somewhere. He finished with 6 points, I read that as, I think. Yeah, he finished with 6 points, and that puts him in 7th. Dakar finished 7th, Luigi finished 2nd, and this is going to be the battle we're going to focus on for the next couple of laps, I would imagine. So, lock up down into turn 1 there for Luigi. We are halfway through dry to wet conditions here in Division 1 of League of Europe. This is going to be very interesting indeed. Montana leads the way 1.5 seconds, Cantera 2nd, Verstappen 3rd, Dakar 4th, while Luigi filling out the top 5. YHYY in 6th, Lark in 7th, there's Gary Donegan in 8th, Jerry in 9th, 35HRL in 10th, Killer Blues into the pit, Chapelelli, you better get the move done I think, here on Rick. The Finn and the German now battling side by side. Killer Blues retired out the pit lane. There's a bit of a desync going on between these two. Chapelelli down the inside of Rick. Rick's holds around the outside with the traction on the outside of the corner. Great stuff from Rick to hold the position. Chapelelli will probably feel hard done by that, to be honest. The traction on the outside of the corner and Rick making that stick, and he's up to P11, and I think that might be a new little catchphrase I've got for him there. Rick's made it stick and he's into P11, but Montana leads the way. We're more than halfway through now. Cantera leads in 2nd position, Verstappen 3rd, Dakar 4th, Luigi in 5th, getting closer. We'll go on board with this once again. Shocking camera angle that. Dakar, bit hesitant down into turn 1 there, through the ladder curve. And Luigi now getting closer, of course, with all DRS enabled, so this is old school F1. Slipstream will be helping out here with Luigi. Down the inside, surely not, from this far back. Goodness me, we could have had a bit of a moment there, but Luigi's timed that perfectly. And he is still behind Dakar as a result. Might have just overshot the corner slightly, and again down into the braking zone. He's a lot lighter on the brakes than Dakar, and this is going to serve him well. He's decided to take the Verstappen line, I see, through the outside of turn 5. Actually turn 6. Luigi and Dakar fighting it out for P4 out on track. Montana leads the way still, Cantera 2nd, Verstappen in 3rd. No real change to there. As soon as this battle stops, I will go on board with the penalties to update you guys on the penalties and see what is happening. We're about to go on to lap 20. We are now on lap 20 with the leaders. Montana, Cantera, Verstappen. Juma's picked up a 5-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. I have a feeling that might have been down at turn 6, I would imagine that was. I don't know why I imagine that. I don't think he's that far from turn 6. To be honest, but Luigi... Sorry, Luigi right on the back of Dakar. Again, very late on the brakes. Danny trying to essentially get right onto the back of him to try and size himself up for a move. And this could be it. The Belgian, closer now than he ever was before to the Scotsman. And he decides to try and lunge it down the inside. The gap always going to close off though. Dakar, in the meantime, again a bit hesitant. Taking it nice and easy in these into conditions. He holds the 4th now, and he's currently in 4th position. Is Dakar. As Jim again picks up a 3-second time penalty. Another penalty added on. Bit of a 3-car battle going on here for the final points out on track. 11th, 12th and 13th. We've got the two Germans, Chapelelli and Neil, chasing down the Finn of Rick. And Rick, of course, trying to close him down. Are the two Germans. And Chapelelli and Neil, who should be a lot quicker than this, I've got to be honest. There should be a lot more, there should be a lot further up here out on track, while Luigi, in the meantime, is right on the back of Dakar through turn 1. We'll cut back to this. We'll cut back to that shortly, but Dakar and Luigi once again getting close, Schiaparelli, 3-second time penalty. Waluigi now decides to lunge it down the inside into turn 3, but I think Dak is always going to have the traction off the corner, but Waluigi gets good traction himself, and it's going to be side by side down the hill into turn 4. Waluigi's going to be on the inside line, Dak on the outside line. Is he going to time this to perfection? Down the inside goes the Belgian, down the inside of the Scotsman tries to hold it around the outside. It's great racing between them both. Waluigi has got the move done. Brilliant stuff by the Belgian, round the outside of Daka, through into turn 5. And he gets the traction off the corner, and that is what I like to call a signed, sealed and delivered move. Signed, sealed and delivered to perfection. It's Waluigi up to 4th place ahead of Daka, and he's making very good ground. Next up for him is Verstappen, who was about 4.5 seconds up the road, but great action there between them both, and Waluigi gets the move done. He's up to P4. But Schiaparelli and Neil, in the meantime, begin to battle it out. Neil, just as soon as I come on board with him, picks up a 3-second time penalty. So the two Germans struggling here compared to recent performances from these two. Maybe a rest to forget for both of these, but Schiaparelli and Neil should give us something to write home about. 1 lap 22 out of 36. These laps now going a little bit slower, of course, with it being wet conditions. And we'll see how the runs out of turn 1 are, as Rick is just ahead of this by about 0.5 of a second. We shouldn't really see him move down into turn 1, I don't think, here. Let's just see, or into turn 3, I should say. Oh, Schiaparelli's completely outbroken himself there, around the outside. Completely overshooting the corner. He's lost the position to Neil. I'm not sure if that was a let-through or if that was just an outbreak. I think it might have been an outbreak, to be honest. And Doom is out the race as well in sector 3. What has happened there? And where is the yellow flags? The yellow flags are nowhere to be seen. I can't really see where he's lost that, to be honest. He lost that through the final corner? No. I don't know where Cantera, I don't know where Doom has lost that. He's out the race though in the meantime. Disappointing for the Spaniard. Of course, he did qualify in 5th position. Very disappointing, and he will obviously come back stronger next week. But Montana leads the way. Cantera's struggling as well. 4.6 seconds now the gap. Verstappen in 3rd. I have a feeling there's been some sort of slight half spin possibly that Cantera has had, because that gap was about 2.5 seconds. I'm pretty sure of it. Oh, was that Kuka Games is off through sector 3? That I do believe is at turn 7 and 8. Yeah, that is at turn 7 and 8. Kuka Games rejoining on track. Gotta be aware because Montana is coming through that section now. Yellow flags are out. Kuka Games has got himself back underway. Is he going to come into the pits? He should come into the pits, I would imagine here. No, he's going to continue on. Of course, if anybody does crash out ahead of him... Oh, and Kuka Games has spun out the final corner. Obviously in the gravel, still got gravel on his tyres. He spins round the outside, and Kuka Games now... Going to be a long, hard race for him. Could still keep on going and hope that people in front may crash out the race in front to gain points. That's the only way I think he can give. And now he lets Cantera and Verstappen through. Good sportsmanship shown there, regardless of him being in 14th position. Good sportsmanship shown there. And Kuka Games deserves credit for that. And he runs wide. He's got left side end plate damage, but there's a lot still going on here out on track. Montana 5.2 seconds leading. Cantera 2nd, Verstappen in 3rd. Waluigi 4th, Daka in 5th. There's not really been many changes to the order apart from what we saw with Schiaparelli. Neil though is right on the back of Rick. Going to go down the inside here up into turn 3. Not quite. Better traction off the corner though, and I think Neil is going to be close enough down to possibly have a go into turn 4. Down the hill they come. Nope, Neil not close enough. Doesn't opt to go for the move down the inside there. V5 Hectorella suddenly came back into this as well. And V5 Hectorella is struggling. Rick right on the back of this. Neil right on the back of this. Could hopefully... I hope not. I hope we're not going to see a Constantino effect. Is V5 Hectorella in AI mode? No, he's not. Of course he was for a minute there. There is a yellow flag in sector 3. That is Kuka Games once again. V5 HRL. Oh, we're not going to have 3 wide, are we? No, Rick around the outside. And V5 HRL, good stuff. I think V5 HRL is into the pits. He is. Vicar Virtual is in. Rain a lot heavier though, out on track. So Vicar Virtual into the pits. Is it going to go for a set of inters, or is this going to be a set of wets for him? He is going to bargain on the set of inters. So Vicar Virtual back on a fresh set of inters. Tyres must have just been going as simply as that. Neo, right on the back of Schiaparelli. Sorry, on the back of Rick. Down the inside now. Goes Neil, down the inside. Gets the move done. Shooty the German, down the inside of the Finn. Got it done. Neil gets the move done. He's down the inside of Rick. And that's for P10. Now Rick trying to have a go at him once again. The Finn not close enough. Schiaparelli on the back of this as well. He's only got into this all of a sudden as part of that three-car trend. Vicar Virtual struggling. Just forcing these two back into Schiaparelli. There's that yellow flag in sector 2. I don't think there's any guesses to who that might be. That's probably why. Cookie Games with a 10-second time penalty. And it's now officially a lap down from everyone else as well. Just not great stuff. There is a battle going on for second though. Running up the hill. Verstappen right on the back of Cantera. Can the Dutchman get the Spaniard down the inside? He's going to lunge it down the inside. Verstappen down the inside. Ooh, that's a bit of a questionable one to be honest. Not dirty, but a bit of a questionable one. But Cantera right on the outside. Verstappen now down into turn 4. The Spaniard will try and hold sway around the outside of him. Verstappen down on the inside line. Will hold sway and he's got the move done. So Verstappen down the inside. Bit of banging wheels to be honest. I'm not sure if that move was totally 100% clean. I have a feeling there might just be a little look into that. It's nothing to write home about. It's just something to obviously commentate on. But Verstappen has got that move done. Cantera into the pits. So Cantera into the pits. Cookie Games is retired as well. I'm not sure if that was done in the pit lane. I think it might have been done in the pit lane. Yeah, it was done in the pit lane. So Cookie Games' car has retired in the pit lane. Cantera into the pits. Wets for Cantera. Wets for Cantera. Again, a bold strategy here. As bold strategy call from Cantera. This could decide whether or not he gets on the podium tonight in Austria. He's out of the pits. Cantera in clear air as well. Ex-Jerry trying to hunt down Gary Donegan. This battle has sprung up from all of a sudden as well. Larkin, Gary Donegan and Ex-Jerry. So Cantera into the pits. Let's see how this runs. And I've got to be honest here from Cantera. We'll watch out for this over the course of the lap. Montana, is he going to respond? Has he realised that Cantera's came into the pits? He hasn't, he's still out. So Montana still out on track and is going for another lap. What about the others? Verstappen stays out on track while Luigi stays out on track. Cantera not really getting any closer, 1.5 seconds. Still might be inters just slightly, maybe coming over to the crossover period between the inters and the hards. And you can see Cantera there just weaving in the background, trying to get heat into those tyres as much as possible. He knows he has risked this completely. So Cantera, from what was inevitable, possible podium for him, now could be ending up down in 9th position. If this doesn't pan out how he thinks it's going to pan out, Cantera will inevitably be out of the top 5. Never mind finishing down in 9th place. If the rest was to stop now, probably won't. But if the rest was to stop now, then obviously Cantera has messed this up. And he is losing time as well. So it's still inters, I think. It is still inters out on track compared to the wets that obviously Cantera has gone on. And that just to prove the tyre graphic. Everyone on a set of inters, apart from Cantera, that's on the set of wets. Bold strategy call. What do you guys make of it in the comment section? Is that one of the weirdest scores that you've probably ever seen? Certainly for me, risking a possible P3. Obviously Cantera's felt it's wet enough for wets, but it's not. I can tell you now it's not. He's losing time. He's lost 2 seconds of the last lap and a half, maybe even 2 laps now. So, see how it's going on. Larkin coming in the comment section saying FFS in the comments. Unlucky for Larkin. Cantera is back into the pits. Cantera is back into the pits. Is this for a set of inters? He's retired. He's messed up. Oh, he's going to be ruining that. He is going to be ruining that. Oh, that is so unfortunate. I think he's lost some front wing as well. So Cantera's AI car back out of the pits. That is so unfortunate. A VSC has been deployed as a result of Cantera leaving the session. A VSC has been deployed, which essentially brings a neutralisation period to this race. And Montana's out in front, Verstappen second, while Luigi now in third. If Cantera did not go for that set of wets, then who knows? And is Montana coming into the pits? He is. Montana's going to come into the pits. So this is interesting. He's in under the VSC, trying to get a free pit stop going here. While Luigi has realised this, Verstappen has not. While Luigi has realised this, he's into the pits. What we're going to see from Montana, are we going to see a set of wets or are we going to see a set of inters? And I have a feeling that might be a set of inters out from again. It is. Set of inters, but you can see how wet this race actually has now become. Track is like a swamp out there, out on track, and Luigi's in for a set of wets. Luigi's in for a set of wets. Surely Cantera coming in. I'm a bit in belief. YHYY's in for a set of wets as well. I'm a bit in disbelief, to be honest. Let's see how this is going to pan out. This is just changing by the second. Verstappen, 7 seconds now out in front. Dakar in second. Montana now third. As a result of his pit stop. That free pit stop under the VSC. He dives it down the inside. And he's got the car stopped, has he? Down the inside. Ball move. Can pull it off. He does. He's got the move done. Montana has got that move done. He's up to P2. Fantastic move. Down on the inside. Down on the brakes. Down the inside. And the fresher tyres now surely should see him to the end of the race. Obviously it will. But should see him catch Verstappen before the end as well. 6.7 seconds. Keep an eye out on that gap. Verstappen leads though. Keep on going, my son. Keep on going there out on track. He's got to keep going to try and maintain that lead. 6.6, 6.5. Coming down. Montana 6.4. This is going to come down very quickly. I guarantee you now. Dakar third, while Luigi fourth. Larkin in fifth. Larkin doing a good job though. Out on track. Not sure what he said, he was saying with FFS earlier on, but Larkin certainly, I think, having a good race so far. He's out in P5, Schiaparelli is into the pits, possibly going in for a set of wets as well, so the German is into the pits. He can risk it, he's one of those guys that can risk it further down the field. Obviously this race hasn't gone how he intended it to. Ethan Vacharel is into, has got a 3-second time penalty there for multiple warnings. He's down there at the back. Verstappen, 6 seconds the gap. Montana second. Look at Luigi. Sorry, look at Gary Donegan that was. Getting sideways out of turn 3. Goodness me. Would have been slipping, sliding like one of them slip slides they have at a bloody theme park. At a leisure park. Goodness me. Verstappen though getting closed in by Montana. Inter's still the way to go, I think. Inter's still the way to go. I'm currently out on track. Verstappen 5 seconds out in front from Montana in second. Dakar third, while Luigi fourth. Larkin in fifth. The race has changed complexion so much over the last few laps. It's still going to change complexion before the end of the race. Larkin, as I say, in fifth. Gary Donegan sixth. Xjavi seventh. Neo in eighth. YHYY in ninth. And Rick in 10th. Oh, we're in for a dramatic few laps now. Verstappen has got to keep on going. Has Montana misjudged this like Cantera did on the wets? Different set, but has he misjudged this? We'll find out over the last 5 laps or so. But it's Verstappen who leads. Montana second, Dakar third, Luigi fourth. No real changes to the order. Oh. And Division 2 has just started up as well. I will try and get up I will try and give you an update on Division 2 before the end of this race as well. But hopefully, this is going to be good. Messina, apparently, just a little bit of news that we've got coming through from Messina. possibly he might have been hit into. Now, I didn't see that on the stream. Messina has left the Discord, seemingly. So we'll try and bring that as much as possible towards the end of this race, but I'm not sure what has happened there with Messina. I will try and chat to him about it after the race, but I honestly don't know what has happened there. We'll find out. We'll find out what has happened there. There was a yellow flag in Sector 3 as well. Is that Chapelleri that's off? Yeah, it is. It's Chapelleri that's off. A race to forget for the German. He's got to keep on going, though. He can pick up the points. I think he should stick on in there, keep on going. That's the best way to do. The Inter's obviously the best strategy. Hopefully nobody has taken it lightly and has actually pitted for a set of wets. And I specifically told them through the commentary that the wets is probably the wrong idea at that stage. But Verstappen still out in front. We are about to go on to the final 3 laps. We are now on to the final 3 laps, and Verstappen still hangs on out in front. 2.3 seconds the gap. Let's check the penalties though while we're at it. Verstappen with 1 penalty. Montana with 1 penalty. Interesting. Dakar with a penalty as well. Waluigi with a penalty. Larkin with a penalty. Not many guys getting. Gary Donegan the same penalty. X-Jarry with 2. Neil with 3-4 for Neil. YHYY with 1 warning. Rick with a penalty. V5HRL with a penalty. And Chapelleri, rest to forget for him, he's on 3 penalties as well. But this is really hotting up now. 2 seconds between Verstappen and Montana. Has Montana misjudged this? Has he done this to perfection? Let's find out over the last lap and a half. The last 2 laps to go. And this is going to boil down to, they're both even on penalties as well. So Verstappen and Montana, this is going to be essentially David versus Goliath here tonight in Division 1 of League of Europe. Verstappen leads them on to the final 2 laps. Montana hunting him down, 1.4 seconds. It looks inevitable that he's going to get onto the back, but of course, when the driver gets onto the back, they're going to be running in that dirty air. Montana now is trying desperately now to try and get on Verstappen. Verstappen could be in for a historic debut win. It reminds me a bit like Sterling West, ILRT Sterling in Spain, and Montana was hunting him down. It's exactly the same here tonight in Austria, with 1.2 seconds separating the lead race, with 1.5 laps to go. This is going to be nip and tuck right the way to the line between these two, Verstappen and Montana, and I will confirm it once again for everyone's sake. Penalties, Verstappen on 1 penalty, Montana on a penalty. It's even Stevens coming on towards the final lap of the race, and Montana is hunting him down, the Swiss man. 7.5 tenths off, 6 tenths off now. Gaining. It's like Usain Bolt trying to run the 100 metres. He is gaining. Montana, Verstappen is going to be eaten up onto the final lap of the race, maybe. Onto the final lap we go. Verstappen on 21 lap old inters, leading Montana on 6 lap old inters. Verstappen takes turn 1 nicely. Montana tries to get the run off, but Verstappen outdoes him there. This is going to be nip and tuck. Where Montana is the best, through the middle and the final sectors. Where Verstappen is the best, through the first sector. And Verstappen has got to try and get the best run of the out of the corner as possible. But Montana, 5 tenths off. The gap, 4.5 tenths off. This is going to be so close. This is literally going to be inches apart, I think. Verstappen and Montana down through turn 4. And Verstappen holds sway. Montana just getting caught on the inside curb there. This is looking like it's going to be so close. Verstappen and Montana. Verstappen, could it be a fairy tale story of him winning his debut race? Montana is hunting him down all the way to the line. He's got to try and do it now. Look at the run off the corner. Montana now trying to switch to the inside. Verstappen wants to have to come across. Down the inside goes Montana, and he's got him down into the final 2 corners. That is what separates a win and a second. Montana is going to win a dramatic race in Austria. What a race. Montana hunts down Verstappen, times it to perfection and gets the win from Verstappen, steals it away from him in the final two corners. Dakar in third, coming across the line. Good result from him. While Ouija is coming across the line in fourth. Chapelletti's already came across the line as well in 12th. He picks up the points for that. Larkin, look at the train. Larkin, Gary Donegan, ex-Jarry and Neo. They stay as they are, I think. 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th. YHYY will be coming across the line in 9th. Fine, he's not ahead of these guys. He jumped up to 8th, in fact. Rick across the line in 10th. V5HRL in 11th. He is going to be ruining his teammate, I've got to be honest. Montana, we thought it was not good enough. He gets it as the rain just ends at the end of the race. Montana has stolen the win from an unlikely position. And Montana takes the win, but doesn't take the championship because that goes on into next week. Montana win. What a dramatic final lap of the race. If you had Heart of Courage on in that final lap, I commend you for it. I really do. That was dramatic. That was phenomenal between them both. But now the podium celebrations unfold and Montana once again take the victory. Back to form for Montana. He takes the win from a debuting Verstappen who has got to be so proud. And I'm going to have to give him driver of the day, I'm afraid. Verstappen gets my driver of the day. We'll see the rundown of the order now. Montana takes it. But look at the gap at how much it was between. 0.3 of a second separating the end of the race between the top two. Dakar with another podium in P3. Good result from him, keeping the consistency up. Well, Ouija in 4th, Larkin in 5th, Gary Donegan in 6th. Good result from him, I've got to say. Ex-Jarry in 7th, YHYY in 8th, Neo with the rest to forget in 9th. Good performance, he gains a position though as a result. Rick in 10th, V5HRL in 11th, and Chapelletti, rest to forget certainly for him in 12th. Cantera, Kuka Games, Doom, Killer Blue and Messina all DNFing at the race, and Messina's future remains to be seen, of course, after he has left the Discord, and I'm not sure what is going on that front. Hopefully we'll get a comment about that in the Discord or anything like that. Oh, we can take a breath. We can take a breath. My God. I thought, honestly, that was on for Verstappen. Oh, it's so unfortunate, but yet so far. Oh, dearie me. Dearie me. And let's see the reaction to everyone out on track. Montana, he's still shaking. He is still shaking, goodness me. Sorry, Verstappen, you would have deserved it. Yeah, I think Verstappen would have deserved that, but Montana hunts him down very late off. The hunter became the hunter right at the end of the race, with Verstappen trying to hunt down Montana once again, but Montana took the win in Austria. Round 12 of the championship is over for this evening, and we move next week to the home of British motorsport. It's Silverstone for round 13 of the championship. Are we going to see the crowning glory of Montana there? We'll have to tune in and find out next week. So, from me, JamesHead14, I bid you farewell. Thank you so much for commentating. I hope you, thank you so much for viewing the stream. Hopefully you have enjoyed every single last minute of this race. What a dramatic end that was. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time for Division 1 in Britain, for round 13 of the championship next week, I bid you farewell. Thank you very much for watching. And until next time, goodbye.